bitches? Okay, can you guys hear me now? Because it's getting quiet, okay. This is from my book, The Force of Destiny, which I had the pleasure of workshopping here with you guys. So I'm gonna read from that. The day started out normally enough, but by noon, Adam's entire world had changed. He forced himself to shower and shave when he woke up, even through the haze of his hangover, and attempted to slurp down the scalding cup of light and sweet coffee he purchased from New York Muffins on Bedford Avenue and North 6th Street, down the block from the subway, just like every other day. As a result of being jostled by grouchy Williamsburg hipsters on the platform, a dribble of caramel-colored liquid struck the front of his clean shirt like a lightning bolt. The train was arriving. "Thanks a lot, assholes," he growled in his fuzzy mind, shooting looks of death that were ignored. Not having a napkin on hand, he resigned himself to the idea of sporting a stained article of clothing for the rest of the day. Shaking his head, he shuffled toward the crowded train car and jammed into the writhing sea of tangled arms and annoyed frowns until he found a spot big enough for a toothpick. It would have to do. Wedged in between a jutting elbow in his clavicle and a supersized Louis Vuitton bag scraping his butt, Adam tuned out the unpleasantness and fell into his daily routine while the sardine-like commuters hurtled under the East River en route to Manhattan. He stared at his fellow passengers. He wasn't alone. Everyone did it. At least Adam had the class to do so from behind vintage Ray-Ban aviator shades. Sunglasses were a necessity. His favorite part of the ritual was that there were always, almost always, hot guys to scope out, especially on the L train. Adam smiled a bit as his bloodshot eyes landed on a man leaning back against the nearest subway door, eyes closed, body rocking slightly with the train's movements. The guy hadn't shaved this morning, and his eye sockets were a bit sunken and smudged with purple, as if he'd had a late night too. He didn't have sunglasses on. Adam grinned, knowing he wasn't alone in the slightly haggard, not enough sleep look. At just that moment, the stranger opened his eyes and looked straight into Adam's. Flinching, Adam couldn't help avert his eyes. He was horrified when people caught him staring. He looked down at his feet in embarrassment, noticing how his white Adidas were stained a turd-like brown from the slush of a recent snowstorm. He couldn't help peer up again after a perfectly respectable 5 seconds had passed. The hottie wasn't looking directly at Adam anymore, but his eyes dazzled like a rare gemstone comprised of both emeralds and topazes. The colors caused the song Lily's Eyes from the Broadway musical The Secret Garden to flash through Adam's musical mind, with a yearning Mandy Patinkin singing, "Her eyes, she has my Lily's hazel eyes." The dark-haired subway rider didn't appear to be a theater queen himself, reinforced by a slight smirk which curved through his stubbled face as if he'd heard Adam singing out loud. Damn it, Adam cussed himself out. I'm such a dork. He sighed, shifted his long arm on the railing above the seats, and turned his body a bit so that he wasn't directly facing the cute guy. As usual, he was getting an erection on the train, and was sure that the nice-looking Asian lady sitting directly in front of him in his expanding crotch was not amused. A quick glance down showed she wasn't paying him any attention. Yet it also showed that his dickhead was poking to the right side of his pants, apparently more wide awake than its owner. Adam rolled his eyes behind their self-imposed aviator blindfold and tried to will his boner down. He went directly to his alphabetical list of personal atrocities, starting with the letter C. Catheters, clowns, collard greens, cooties, until the hardness was deflated from his trousers. With that issue under control, he stole another peek out of the corner of his eye. The same guy wasn't merely looking in his direction now, he was downright staring. Adam felt his fair skin turn hot as he looked away quickly, his scalp tingling. He was no doubt blushing scarlet. Curiosity getting the better of him, however, his eyes flicked up again, only to be faced with a stare down. Mortified in that turned on kind of way, Adam turned his red face to the top of the lady's head in front of him. His queasy stomach hitched when he noticed a dusting of white flakes swirled throughout her black helmet of hair. He would have to add the word dandruff to his list of personal atrocities under the letter D. Like an involuntary reflex, he glanced up again. Luckily, those greenish eyes were faced straight ahead, vacant and unfocused like the rest of the jaded passengers. Free from scrutiny, Adam did what naturally came next. He gave the man's body a thorough once-over.